Hello and welcome to the channel. Well, this was going to be the Goblet of Goblets. It was going to knock Michael Wolf off the Goblet King throne. Let's see how it progresses. We've got a piece of very spalted hazel. That's about 8 inches long. Just mounting that between centres at the moment. As it gets turned, you'll see the spalting come out. It would be quite impressive under normal circumstances. Check nothing's hitting there. Lock and load. Here we go with a Sorby roughing gouge. Here we're nearly cylindrical. I was hoping to try and keep some of the bark on as extra decorative effect. Just starting to get a general shape to the outside of the goblet bowl at the moment. Still using the roughing gouge. Now I've moved on to the 3/8 crown bowl gouge. This is the one I put the swept back grind on. Just squaring off the end there with a parting tool. There we go, put it in the old one way there. You can see there the heavy spalting, or in other words rot, that's on the goblet, and that's where most of the problems lie. Here I am now, I'm just trying to stabilise it a little bit using CA glue or super glue for our non-American viewers. Here we go, just using a thin parting tool to square off the end there. Get it ready for drilling out and hollowing out. That's a 1-inch Forstner bit in the Jacob's chuck there. I'm just going to take that in a couple of inches, which helps when you're doing the hollowing out process. And here we go, that's the shop made hollowing tool there, the 12mm radius carbide cutter. Right, the tool I've got now is the shop-made negative rake scraper with a Sorby teardrop end. Still trying to smooth out some of that roughness of that the spalting has created on the inside. Not easy. This is the point really, I should have decided to turn this into a lump of firewood, but hey. Never one to forego a challenge. There's a bit of 80 grit there, that's how bad the inside was. Haven't used 80 grit for, well, a long time. It's just going down the grits a little bit. I only went to about 240. There's an old saying about polishing something. I'm not about to go into that now. What I'm doing here is actually applying super glue. I'm trying to keep as much of the spalting together as possible. So I'm going to use cyanacrylate to actually finish the goblet, which hopefully will also stabilise it. And that's the idea anyway. Probably been better off using concrete, but still. That's it after a couple of layers of cyanacrylate. And as you can see, when the lathe stops, that the spalting is very attractive. It makes a very attractive feature. That's a little bit of Polish iron 10 going on there, just to polish up, see what the score is. There we go, comes up very nicely. You can see from there that there was a lot of splits on the outer edge, which is why I was using cyanacrylate. And then I've gone to a round nose scraper to try and clean up the outside edge of the goblet. And once again back down to the 80 grit as a starting sanding solution. Just filling in some of those splits on the rim there with some cyanacrylate and just giving it a quick rub over to get some sawdust in there. The sawdust acts as a filler and also as a good bonding agent, because cyanacrylate is not actually a gap filling glue. There we go, I'm just putting a coat over the whole outside of the goblet there, just really to stabilise it. Here we are, I've got the first of the many rings marked or demarked and ready to cut out. Just taking the stem down a bit further. That is also a shop-made carbide scraper, rough and gouge. That's the demarked second ring there, and that's the Sorby one-piece ring tool, and that's got a 1/4 inch radius on it. The idea was to try and get 3 captive rings on that stem. Just gently working the tool around there so that the end pushes through on the stem side. Also trying to keep a nice radius on the outside of the ring. Well, didn't that go well? Hey ho, press on. Again here trying to do the undercut on that first ring, getting that ready. Hey, look at that, success. The ring itself was finished off with CA as well, because obviously there are large sections of spalting in that. Here I'm just taping a little bit of 120 grit to the stem so I can use the rotation of the lathe to act as a sander for the inside of the ring. Normally it's a very effective way of doing it, but this time it just seemed to not really want to. There we go. So here we have our 3-ring goblet, which has now become a no-ring goblet. Just marking out the line that I'm going to use to part the goblet off. Using the 4/8 hole gouge just to get some shape on the base there. Right, well now the 3 captive ring goblet is now going to become a thin stemmed goblet with a single central bead, which is what I'm just working on there. I'm just going to put another bead right down towards the base there. I'm just marking that off with the parting tool. Just taking off some of the excess wood there, and you can start actually taking the stem down a lot thinner than what it is at the moment. Pushing the boundaries. That's a small 1/4 inch bowl gouge. I'm just putting the radiuses on that lower ring. And then back to the 3/8 gouge, gently removing wood from the stem. I want to take it down to about 1/4 inch, maybe a bit less actually. Here we go, a little bit of sanding, starting off there with 120 grit. There we go, bulking it out with some more cyanacrylate. As you can see, the base is also very gnarly and punky, I think a lot of the wood turners use as a phrase. Just taking the base down very gently. Doing a little bit of sanding there now the cyanacrylate's gone off. A little bit more shaping with a round nose scraper. As you can see, it's quite delicate, it's slightly tapered. The lower section below the bead is a little bit wider than the top section, and it does taper from the base of the goblet to the bead and then to the base, to the stand of the goblet. Here we go, doing some finishing sanding. Well, don't you just love it when that happens? Never mind, at least Mike gets to keep his crown.